Hello everyone, this is Wiley here. Today's topic, I want to discuss articulating screens, or specifically selfie screens. This is something that a lot of people say they don't need and a lot of people want, people like myself who actually do a lot of solo content video. The reason why I want to bring this up is a lot of times people think that the solution to a non-articulating screen is very simple, but I just want to actually walk through it and tell you that it's not quite as simple as you think. So this is going to be a very quick topic today. Now, when you have a camera that has an articulating screen like this, it's really beneficial. It's very easy because it has a lot of flexibilities. I understand a lot of camera people or photographers don't really need this and they just prefer the standard. Okay, completely understandable on that point. But the reason why we like this is obviously when you're in front of the camera, it becomes very useful to see the framing that you have. The issue with the cameras that don't have this feature is that you would need to provide a screen on top. Commonly, it would be right up top here, in which you will provide a screen right above where the hot shoe is. The issue that I have with this is that now, since the hot shoe is gone, you have no place to put your microphone or your wireless lav. This is the biggest issue and one of the things that we have to contend with when we don't have an articulating screen. The problem is that once you use the hot shoe, there's no other place to put your microphone. At that point, the only way that you can solve this is to usually add a cage around your camera. Once you add that cage, the ergonomics of the camera and pretty much everything you want to use it for really drastically changes because you're adding a huge square around your camera. When that happens, the camera that was very portable and very easy to use all of a sudden becomes a little bit more cumbersome and it really belongs on a tripod. That's one of the major issues that I have with people saying that you don't need an articulating screen. It's because they don't really think through the process of what it means to actually not have that. You're going to be adding at minimum an extra monitor, which means at least extra batteries. You're going to need a cage because you're most likely going to want a microphone that isn't built into the camera body. So now you need accessories to be able to actually attach two things to the camera cage, and you need to actually be able to package all this stuff and move it around. For myself, many times when I'm actually doing something more professional and I need that video feature and I'm alone, I'm always going to bring along a camera like a GH5 rather than my Fuji cameras because the articulating screen becomes so much easier to use. A lot of times when you're setting up, you're framing the shot and you're the only person there framing the shot. So you're going between the back of the camera and the front of the camera quite often. If you have an articulating screen, that cuts down on that issue significantly. It just makes things so much easier. And because everything is packaged into the camera body, it just makes it much more easier to move around and there's less to pack. And that's something that's very helpful when you're already very busy trying to set up a shoot. Now, having said all of that, do I think that every camera needs an articulating screen? No, I don't. I think, for example, in the Fuji systems, there are definitely camera bodies more geared towards photo. In those camera bodies, if they don't want to have a selfie screen, that's fine. But I would like to have a selfie screen in one of their high-end cameras, like all brands. I know Canon has a few of them that do that. Nikon's a little bit behind on that. I really wish that they'd have something like that. Obviously, Panasonic and Olympus, they all have high-end cameras that have an articulating screen. And I just would like Fuji to follow suit along with that. And I would also like Nikon to follow suit with that, to have one of their camera bodies that's on the higher end side, having a selfie screen to make life easier for people like us who are actually solo content creators. And it's just not YouTubers. There are a lot of people out there making a lot of videos that would really appreciate having a screen that flips forward, making their life easier while they're producing this content. It's one of the reasons why the GH5 is so well loved. It's because it has a lot of great features that are really geared towards solo content creations. Right now, I'm actually filming on a Fuji X-H1. It's built up really nicely for studio work in which I can talk directly into the camera, but it's not very easy to move around. Pretty much when I decide to use the X-H1 outside the studio, everything that's attached to the cage I don't bring with me. I only bring the camera body with me, which means I lose a lot of functionality, and that's really a shame. It's a great camera, but it is lacking in the articulating screen, which means it's kind of a little bit behind cameras like the GH5, which would be a little bit more easier to use for professional work. So for anybody who's actually doing videos, please give me your opinion on this. If you actually use an external screen, do you find that you need to have a camera cage in order to accommodate everything you want to do? For myself, every single time I use an external screen, I need a camera cage in order to accomplish what I want out of the camera system, and that makes things much more cumbersome. Please let me know your opinions on that, and until next time, thank you so much for watching.